Your Majesty, Excellencies, Speaker Alin, Minister Wallström and Hultqvist, Excellencies from the diplomatic service here present, ladies and gentlemen, friends and colleagues, I suppose I first want to say how honoured I am and how honoured the Institute as a whole is to have you all here. How pleased we are that you have chosen to join in this celebratory moment, both of our first half century, and as you have heard, we have every confidence that there's another half century to come, and also to welcome you to our newly renovated building, to see, I think, an environment which is suitable and befitting for the kind of work which we're doing. I'm labouring here this evening with two problems. One is that we're celebrating SIPRI's first 50 years, and I have to acknowledge that for 49 and a half years, SIPRI got along quite well without me. The second thing is that the speakers before me have been so wise and so well informed and have clearly dived so deeply into SIPRI's research that they covered all the ground which I had got written down in my notes here. So I'm going to kind of make it up as I go along. As has been said, SIPRI has a well-earned reputation for our work on the facts and the figures and the analysis of the hard and difficult security issues which have faced the world over the last half century and which face us today. Since coming here, I've only become more impressed by that work because I've started to see it a little bit, so to speak, from the inside and understood how much effort goes into getting the data right, to getting the methodology right, to getting everything sorted and consistent. Only today we have launched the arms transfer data fact sheet reflecting on the last 5 years of the world arms trade and showing, unfortunately, the upward trend in arms exports internationally, 14% increase over the previous 5-year period. To produce that kind of conclusion takes a lot of work. It does indeed take a lot of investment, and it's on the basis of that effort that we get then the reputation for our reliability, which, as I said, I think stands very high and everybody has attested to it. And that comes also, and I'm so pleased that this has been mentioned as well, it grows out of our impartiality. People who read our yearbook or who come on our website, wherever they are around the world, they know that this institute in Sweden is speaking what it sees to be the truth, and that there is nowhere else that you can go where you could find more reliable information than from this institute in Sweden. I think that what makes SIPRI and other institutes that are also working in similar kinds of fields so important is that if you look at the world security horizon now, it is full of challenges coming in fast and furious at policymakers, at decision makers. A place like SIPRI is offering policymakers and decision makers. It's also offering the media and the informed public a chance to pause for thought. And sometimes I look at political discourse in different countries around the world and I just think to myself, why couldn't you have just paused for thought? I know the pressures, I know how hard it can be in political life to do that. But where there is a will to do it, there is actually a possibility to do it. And somewhere like SIPRI is providing that opportunity. That's why we've labelled our 50th anniversary a year of reflection. It's not a year of action, it's not a year of priority, it's not a year of picking this issue or picking that issue. It's a year of reflection. And I'd like to, in a general but in a serious way, offer you all, and those who are watching us on the live streaming as well, to join in that process of reflection and to join in thinking about the world that we face and how best to face up to it. 50 years on, the security horizon has changed, and I think we've been remarking upon that already. The 1960s, I was thinking about the arms race, the East-West confrontation, perhaps the Vietnam War. Today, we're thinking about a much more complex world, not just to do with the challenges we see in the Middle East and the region around it, and in Central Asia with Afghanistan, problems in Southeast and in Northeast Asia, not just thinking about emerging technologies and the challenges which they pose to traditional ways of thinking about arms control and about the use of force, but also issues like the growing pressure of climate change on human society and on communities, the pressures of growing inequalities in a world which is marked, amongst other things, by being increasingly globally connected so that everything is visible and transparent, and at the same time increasingly urbanized. And our understanding of the opportunities has changed as well. 50 years ago, the term climate change and security was not part of the vocabulary, but nor was the term gender and security. And it is now, and it's in the yearbook, and that's rightly so. And we are exploring those issues. Nor was indeed the concept simply of peace building in the vocabulary 50 years ago. Nor was the idea of inclusivity of different social classes and groups in peace processes in order to make them serious. I think that, you know, just like the achievement of, think about the Paris Agreement on climate change, think about the debates on climate change over the years, and think how much science and knowledge have contributed to making it possible for the world to move forward towards a climate change agreement. So over the years, SIPRI's work on nuclear proliferation, nuclear weapons technology, chemical and biological warfare, on the arms trade, have contributed directly into the arms control arrangements that have been made, the Non-Proliferation Treaty, the control treaties on chemical and biological weapons, and the International Arms Trade Treaty. What we seek is informed policy making, and for that we need an informed public debate. We are also taking on board and taking very seriously that we are not just an international institute, but we are also the Stockholm International Institute. And we want and need to be present in debates which are happening in Stockholm and in Sweden over some of these core issues of international security. Later this year, we will in April be having a forum on security and development, and in September, a conference which has got extremely high-level support, and we're very honored by that from both Your Majesty and from the Parliament, on secure cities. And those will be bringing issues out into the open which need to surface. Many people, I think, look at the current period and worry that the gains of the 1990s and the first decade of this century in peace are being lost. I wouldn't be in this business, and I wouldn't have been in it so long if I were not the most hopeless, or indeed hopeful, optimist that you are ever likely to meet. And I see something different. I see that in the 2 decades after the end of the Cold War, we learned an awful lot about how to make peace, about how to reduce numbers of weapons, about how to make peace-building processes work. What we did once, we can do again. What we need is to reflect, perhaps pause, understand, work hard. For SIPRI's part, we go where the facts take us. And I think that evidence base and going where the facts take us is more important now than ever. Thank you so much for coming along this evening and being part of this celebration. But it is not just to celebrate the past, it is to launch us into the future. Thank you very much.